What's up, everyone? My live reaction to round 24 of those team lists. There's a few friendly faces. Looks like Ronaldo's going to be back. Tino, obviously, we know he's coming back from his suspension, and Jerome likely to be named here. But let's go through it one team at a time. I've got my lovely Eagles, who I'm hoping go well this week up against the Panthers. And Hosking still named in the centres. That is a kick to the gonads for Isaac Tunga owners. Unless, what's the story with him? He's just completely gone. Remains sidelined due to leg injury. Wow. I think you just have to sell now, like just straight up. I'm still holding him in Super Coach, so I think I'll just move him on. Unfortunately, it's just too much cash for yourself to potentially hold on to him. And if it's something that he's not even named on the reserves now, so it's obviously something fairly bad and very much a lingering thing. So with Isaac, I think you should be selling him now, unless you are happy to wait one more and then. With 3 weeks to go, if there is an injury or something, you say you had one trade remaining and you want to move on from one of those guns that happens to get suspended or injured, then I completely understand that. But if you have more than one trade, I think it's a clear move on from Tungo. Like, you can go straight to, if you have a little bit of cash in the bank and stuff, you can go to the Dane guys, the Garricks, and if you don't have Manu, you can go to Tedesco. These kind of guys here you could look to grab in this one. So we look to the Eagles, and really the big thing here is the forward pack. So Sipley and Kepi are gonna open up. I love them, cricket references here, but they're gonna start up front. Olakwatu Benchaboy, which will start on the edge, which is very interesting with Fainu. Remember when he was the starter there, and he's not even close to it now. So Benchaboyevich, for those that are still holding on to him, it's actually worked out fairly well that he becomes a bit of a player for you, and you can loop him straight up in that first game. Guys like Kepi I wouldn't be looking at, guys, if you're having a look around them. Kelvin Tuilagi has actually been dropped, so I suppose the team hasn't been playing well the last few weeks, and he's the first man, unfortunately, to go. For the Panthers, not much change. It's Cleary is still the best captaincy option, and you should be. Okay, super frustrating this one here for me, to be honest with you guys. The Titans here, with Chris Randall, knowing how he was going to score. We mentioned about 3 weeks ago that, him, Aaron Clark are going to score great, and Randall's going to be the guy that goes big. Verrills, unfortunately now, for him, he's out for the season, and that means Chris Randall just goes straight into the 9 role. What you should see here, guys, is him not running as much as he is playing in that forward, rotation, the 8, the 10, the 13. But, tackle numbers are going to be up like he has been, and he will have a lot of confidence going into this one because he's a player that has built that over the last sort of month especially, and he's building a place in this side, and he's been very, very much at the forefront of what they're doing at the moment. So big news that one of Chris Randall. I think he's a very solid pickup, obviously a little bit more pricey than he was as well. So if you're looking at a 9 for backup especially, does he have the mid as well? I have to check, but Randall really solid. Joey Lussick is obviously the other one that you can look at in that hooking position as well, who, Randall doesn't have any more buys remaining, is a lot more expensive, but Joey Lussick is cheaper, has that 1 buy remaining. You're looking at the Sharkies, anything more on the Titans, sorry. Jaden Campbell is the fullback this week. Again, a very interesting option in that fullback role. Mo Fotuaika out this week, so that's something to look at as well, but it won't affect Randall. It will affect Clark. Where's he at? Yeah, he's in the 13 role. He should be able to get some decent minutes again with Mo out this week, but it should change from there, especially with their interchange not being full of too many forwards, I should say. Cruz Leeming is a hooker, I believe, so should spell Randall, but is Randall going to move to the middle? Yeah, that could be very interesting there. Colquhoun ends up on the bench again with Thomas Hazleton out. Okay, so Colquhoun probably gets some minutes in here. I won't be able to use him as a loop, but probably better off him getting game time in case something happens to me. Brimson will be rested again as he's battling that minor rib injury. So, it's probably very difficult, I'd say, to look at selecting Jaden Campbell. We know that he could come out and do really, really well, but is it a 1 to 2 week thing? And we know that sometimes he goes nuts, and then other times he, when he had that sort of month stretch, he only averaged about 35, which didn't really help anyone that did grab him. So very much a boom or bust kind of player, especially obviously the wing fullback position. It's exactly what it is. If you are looking at Tino as an option, I wouldn't push you away from it. He's very expensive, but he does have that try scoring ability to really enhance his base stat as well. Talakai keeps in the centres there. Ronaldo likely to play this run. Ramian doing really well and is definitely a playable option in this one. Cam McInnes keeps his spot, obviously. Wade Graham also in that 12 position there, which is cool. Again, more of like a looper kind of option, I'd say, if you're looking at that yourself. For the Broncos, we see Jordan Ricky back into the start. Pia Kura goes to the bench. So, yeah, that obviously hurts Brendan there. But overall, it's not anything out of the ordinary as to what we thought would happen. But if you're looking to play Pia Kura, then, yeah, it's a slight issue, obviously. Reynolds is back in, which is good news. Katoni Staggs should continue to do fairly well in this one. Reece Walsh, yeah, Payne Haas, a great option. But obviously, these Broncos, they have a bye next week team. So, just be aware of that when you're looking at those players there. Carrigan, again, same. Really, really good, but yeah, the bye next week hurts. For the Eels, the big change here is Dejan Assi comes into centre with Bailey Simonson going onto the wing. Ryan Madison goes back to the bench with Andrew Davies starting. So I think that's a little bit of a kick to the Nads there for Ryan Madison owners. Brendan Hands on the bench. Wow, okay. So they're not, yeah, so Joey Lussick probably doesn't become the option that you may have wanted now with Hands to come on and maybe they split that role again. And we saw Lussick, he got that 29, 30 with that 50 minutes, and that might be how things play out. I suppose for Hands, it's like if you're really run out of trades now and he's a guy that could come on and score a couple of points for you, just if you're running short, with Miller Steven coming off that team list with Bailey moving to the wing. If you do own Bailey, I think it's pretty well time to sell. Again, if you have multiple trades. If you don't, then you're holding him. You could score some tries out there. But against the Broncos, you're probably a little bit more worried about that. Joel Fangawa getting the start this week. No Ogden, is that right? Whoever started last week. Who did? I don't know. Widemu Greggs to play some bigger minutes as well. That's probably it in that game, which is cool. Okay, Bunnies and the Dragons. Look at the Bunnies first. Tane Milne is on the wing again. Munro is out, so potentially just the amount of errors that he had on the weekend and their loss was the reason why they decided to make a change. You've got Jacob Host back on the on the outside there, on the edge, I should say. Jai Arrow out. No, where's Arrow? Did I miss him? Oh no, he's starting 8. Okay, so back spasm seems like he's fine, which is good there on that one. Shaq Mitchell starting. That's the fun one. Awesome. Okay. Yes, Tom Bird is out for 3 weeks, I believe. Cheekham has been pushed out of this side as well. Okay, Lomax is out. I didn't see, but did Lomax get in trouble? We'll say in a second. I didn't actually check how that worked out. Zach Alonso. Oh, a shoulder injury for Lomax. Wow. Jack Bird has also suffered a shoulder injury and will consult a specialist. Oh my god, poor fella. Man, that's frustrating. For Bird, like you think, just dealing with the knee would be enough, and unfortunately for this, it's shoulder as well. And Zach Lomax, and I don't even know if he's going to get charged or not in the end. I haven't checked it, to be honest. Sorry, but yeah, with the injury, that makes him close to a sell as well. We'll have to find out how bad it is, but it could just be a 1 weeker kind of thing with him. Cam Murray, do you pick him up now? Look, if you got 2 really important matchups in head-to-head for the next few weeks, then Murray would be a great pick. He obviously got big minutes last week. If they're winning against Dragons, I can't see him playing the huge minutes, but if you want Murray to go well, and he's the only guy you have in this side, in this matchup anyway, then you want it to be a really close one so you can get the massive minutes. But other than that, I'm not going to expect it. Ben Melkmasilla in the 13 role, expecting to play decent minutes. They got both Couchmans on the interchange. I think Toby will play some decent minutes there. Musgrove, Couchman will probably split probably 40 or so between them. So I'd imagine Blake Laurie plays big minutes. So he, don't be surprised if he averages 50 to finish things off. Michael Molo as well, probably averaging pretty solidly there as well. Russell, still a great pickup at a fairly cheap price, close to that 400k mark. And then Sully and Max Faino comes back in. So really, Bunny should win this one comfortably, but who knows how that is actually going to play out in the grand scheme. Latrell Mitchell's a terrific buy if you do need a wing fullback this week, obviously with Drinkwater out. Look at him for sure. Okay, I think that's probably it in that one. Tigers and Warriors. So obviously, Chancellor Klukstad is out with Tain Tuapiki into the fullback position, which is, maybe you can have him as a 1 week play if you need some type of a cash out. He's closer to 300, I believe. After his really good first game. And Metcalf keeps his spot. Adam Fanul-Blake is there. Good. Forwards there. Harris, awesome. So locked in pretty well for everyone. Jazz Tavanga on the bench there. Charlie Staines is out for the Tigers in their main change with Asu Kapoa going into the centres. And obviously a few people mentioned in the comments when I was talking about Bateman last week. Just unfortunate, to see him sitting on 29 and end up on 43. You'd hope for a lot more, but he did spend a fair bit of time in the centres, with Staines going down. Wouldn't be really looking at anyone. In terms of holds, I think pretty much all of them are holds. If you can move on, like you probably need Buller this week if you still hold him. With Drinkwater being out, IPAP, Bateman, again, if you have like 3 or 4 plus trades, then yeah, you could look at trading maybe IPAP out just because he hasn't been that superstar. And then Abdi Coruscant again is going to be that boom or bust guy. So this week could be the week that he goes really well. Jackson Ford, people are talking about as well. Yeah, similar boat to that of Cartwright, but he's a little bit cheaper with Ford and Cardi scoring a little bit better. So just look at him in that way. Roosters up against the Dolphins. Teddy's there. Joey Manu is there. Good stuff for us. What do we got? Still Sandon Smith on the bench. So they're still not going with Terps. Nathan Brown is out. So Wong actually keeps his spot, which is very, very interesting. Where's our man Butcher? Hold on. Nat's here. Where's Egan? I thought he was a 1 weeker. There you go. Hasn't said, is it? Roosters. Dylan Upper comes in. Yeah, wow. There he is. He's finally getting his game. Good stuff. So no talk on Egan. Wasn't he a head knock? 1 week injury? Let me know if you know anything further on Egan. But yeah, Wong's a very sneaky kind of playable option this week, for sure. With Egan not close by. I suppose Egan could come into the middle as well. They're fairly short with, Napa hasn't been looking to get a gig all year. You got Terrell May, who's been solid for sure. Fletcher Baker in there with Hargraves and Collins. So yeah, interesting to see what's going to happen there with Wong. If we can find out a bit more information on Egan, that's going to be helpful. But if you have multiple trades, definitely look at him there for sure. Harrison Graham still in the reserves, guys. In terms of their squad, Asako in his normal squad, Hammer, I should say, in the centres there, and Cody at fullback. So they're going to stick with that formula. It looks like Connolly Lamuela, if you do need a centre or an edge this week, or just a 17 guy, around that 500k mark, then he's the play. Good to see Jeremy Marshall-King seems to be in good spirits and coming out for plenty of game time. So yeah, should continue to score solidly. All right, any Pap? No Pap yet. Yeah, give him another crack out in Q Cup, which would be good. We have Seb Chris is out, so Ethan Strange comes in, the young fella, I believe one of the under-19s boys. So that'll be an exciting watch. And yeah, it would be like a solid cash out if you just need, if you have multiple trades. Again, if you're a head-to-head type of guy, then maybe he's a guy you have in for this game, and he doesn't play the rest of the year. Would be ideal for you. He might end up keeping it, wouldn't he? With Chris being out longer term, looks like he's 3 to 4 weeks for Chris at minimum. Don't really have anyone else coming through, do they? And no one else is out. They've already got Kotrick playing on the wing. Rapinoe at fullback. Yeah, he might keep the spot. What's Croker? What happened to Croker? That's a good question, actually. Croker's injured, isn't he? Made the season on the sideline for Seb. That's tough. We're gonna have to find a little bit more on Croker. Did he do a short-term injury? It definitely wasn't long-term. But we'll look at that for sure. Storm side of things, nothing changes for them. Again, Marion Seva, I imagine he scores fairly well. Grant, Munster, it's probably expect a good game from Munster as well. Just like I spoke about Payne Haas, I expect a bounce back from Munster. I'm not expecting it from DCE, but I'm very much hoping so. And then Knights come up against the Doggies. Jarrell Skelton is out of the squad. Bradman Best is out as well. So that's not good. What's happening with Best? Adductor injury. So Tuala comes in. Daniel Safi listed amongst the reserves. Luke Thompson will play his first game of the NRL season, placing Harrison Edwards on the bench. I would imagine Thompson plays limited minutes. He's been playing sort of 30 to 40, I believe, in New South Wales Cup. So he played a New South Wales Cup a fortnight ago, playing 32 minutes. So I wouldn't expect anything above 50, which is where Edwards was kind of playing a lot of time. So maybe Thompson playing 30 to 40 gives Max King some more minutes, which would be delightful. I would love that. Obviously, Kickout's back and flying. Yeah, it's Sutton, Luke Thompson, Liam Knight, and Corey Riddell. It actually seems like a pretty solid interchange. So I'm expecting 50 minutes from King. Nothing more, nothing less, hopefully, in that one. Jacob Kiraz, obviously a lovely wing fullback option. Now his buy has passed. He's about 512k or something like that. He's going to do a solid job. Gagai is still a good pickup in the centres, but expensive, obviously. And Frizzell and Fitzgibbon are going to be 50 plus guys for the rest of the year. That is all. Very exciting. Team list for the week. We'll obviously get in all of our content. Hopefully with Scoop tomorrow, it would be good around, be about 4:30 or something like that. We're able to get that out after he has his break and we can do the video and we'll go from there. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening with 4 rounds to go and I love yous. See ya.